Testing. Hey guys, welcome to Approach the Nerd. It is your girl Maria Park, and this is our Arrowverse pretty much everything chat. Forgive the lighting. I'm still trying to move stuff around in this room, and it's been interesting to say the least. So we have a lot to talk about. Everything from Superman and Lois and the Flash to just a little bit of speculation on Stargirl season 3 and of course Naomi. Naomi's probably not going to be the biggest part of this conversation since it was canceled. But I just kind of wanted to let people like a little bit in on my feelings about that and why I thought, the show or what I thought could have been done a little bit better in terms of the show. But let's kind of jump into the beginning because, let's start off with The Flash. Now, The Flash is probably the series that I tend to procrastinate on reviewing only because over the few seasons that we've had, I say few, we're actually going into season 9 next season. I've kind of been up and down with my like for this show. Just some of the things I've always found repetitive in the series keep happening. And so it's been a kind of like a love-hate relationship between me and The Flash. But I still watched it and I'm still going to talk about it. So let's just kind of jump in. So, number 1, I don't know how I truly feel about this Avatar situation because honestly, if I want an Avatar, I'll go watch The Last Airbender or Korra. But the fact that Barry is basically the avatar of the pretty much positive forces, and Eobard Thawne is the avatar of the negative forces, is like we could have done something else. I've already thought it was strange that the reason we even had the positive forces in the Arrowverse is because of Iris and Barry's love for each other and the way they basically had remote sex and created these beings, and they actually refer to them as mom and dad. So it's just very interesting. But I guess because we needed to have a way of introducing the forces from the comics, this is what the Arrowverse did. Our Arrowverse did, and so it was very interesting to me. Iris's time sickness. At first, I thought the reason she had time sickness was she was pregnant. I'm sure everybody and their mother thought the same thing. We've already seen Bart and we've already seen, Nora in the future, even though technically, again, we've said a million times that there is no Nora. That's not actually Excess name. And Bart is actually supposed to be their grandchild. But, I digress. This is their children. I don't mind them. The actors that play Bart and Nora are adorable. I have no issue with the actual kids itself. It's just Iris is having this time sickness and kind of being like all over the place was very hard to follow for me, especially since Barry was always distracted with other stuff. Like he was worried about Iris, but then he had to go deal with, Deathstorm. He had to go, all of these things that he had to do because at the same time, they're not trying to have another Armageddon, but at the same time, his wife's like fading in and out of existence and he doesn't know how to handle it. So I feel like this season really showed Barry's ability to deal with mental illness very well. Because at this point he has he has to have post-traumatic or PTSD. There's no way he can't have PTSD. I mean, already losing his mother, losing his father, the way he lost them, and all the other stuff that's happened in his life. At this point, he needs a guidance counselor. And we basically have seen this because basically Iris being temporarily killed by him when he was throwing a electric, basically his lightning bolt at Reverse Flash, and her being teleported in to receive it and being killed. He snapped and he was going into I'm about to kill him mode. I'm not gonna, this whole journey he's been a Care Bear. I'm not going to kill anybody. And then that one moment where he accidentally thinks he killed Iris, even though his children did not phase out of existence, which, logically thinking means that she can't actually be dead. He was ready to kill. He was going to kill Reverse Flash. He had no problem with it. He was. So yeah, Barry has had a very interesting journey this season, though I have to play off the season finale when he and Reverse Flash are fighting each other. I understand again that love was his symbol, that he was a paragon of love in Crisis on Infinite Poop. And I've made fun of this throughout the entire season because of the choices that Team Flash makes. Like they are the anti-kill team. Even though they do things that really it's just like really boggle your brain, they're the anti-kill team. And so he was so close to murdering Reverse Flash. And then, when they were fighting and he realized that Iris was alive, he decides, oh, we're tearing the city up. I'm going to meditate. And I'm like, what? So he just meditates and he lets Reverse Flash do his thing until he's destroyed. And I'm like, okay. So I guess for me, I don't know. That to me was just silly. The power of meditation. Yes, we get our Care Bear back, but it's very interesting how they decide to end storylines, because I kind of felt like they could have gone bigger, especially since we do see that they show a blue like crystal, which of course could indicate blue cobalt. And if you know who that is, it's actually the twin of Barry, the evil Flash, that is kind of signaling may become the new avatar of the negative forces. I mean, who knows? That may not be true. They may just be messing with us, and this is a one-off Easter egg that may not come to pass, kind of like the MCU does with Mephisto all the time. So I don't know, but I mean, it would be cool. I would not be, disappointed in that. They did something this season in The Flash that pissed me off. I understand that Eric Wallace did this because he didn't think that The Flash was going to get a season 9. We didn't know if Candace Patton was going to come back as Iris Allen West or West Allen. Sorry. We did not know. But this is what they did. And I cannot understand why we went all of these years with this whole teasing of Diggle becoming a Lantern, bringing us into Blackest Night, and just for him to be in a room or like in a cell area with Reverse Flash to give the ring up. What was the effing point to all the cameos, to Cecile seeing in his head something bigger than himself? What was the point to us having this? They could have never introduced him and seeing that damn ring. That irritated me to a level that I will not, you guys don't understand. Of all the stuff that has irritated me, and you guys know a lot of things that have irritated me about the Arrowverse, how they played us with Diggle, I just can't. I can't. And this is all fresh for me, guys, because I had to play catch up on some of the shows because of all the stuff going on. I didn't have a chance to like really catch up. But when I saw that scene, woo, Lord, I was in my feelings. I'm like, you got to be effing kidding me. This is how we're going to do this? What? We're just going to be like, oh, yeah, I don't need the ring. I'm going to stay with my family. Are you effing kidding me right now? No. No, not at all. So I'm kind of upset, and I wonder how that would have played out if they had known that we were going to get a season 9 of The Flash. I'm really curious because Superman and Lois is renewed for season 3. The Flash is renewed for season 9. We know that Naomi got canceled, so it is gone. Stargirl premieres on August 31st. So we know that they are setting up their own little line of Arrowverse shows, which has been rumored to be called the Superverse, but that's a whole other conversation that we'll get to later. But yeah, I just wonder if they would have really rushed the Diggle closure story. That's what they're calling it, closure. It is not closure for me. It is just stupidity. I cannot stand that storyline. I would rather they never did it. Never did it. As a matter of fact, if you remember back on Black Lightning, where Lynn talks about having a brother who's in the army and his name was John and her last name was Stewart, John Stewart, we could have had John Stewart. I am so in my feelings about this guy. So that is a thing it's up there with Crisis on Infinite Poop as some of the stupidest storylines I've seen in the Arrowverse. So it's a thing. All right. Damien Dark had a cameo. Well, he was in, like, you look at the first half of this season, he also had a little bit of an adventure, of course, when Barry had to go undo what Reverse Flash did by marrying or getting ready to marry Iris and basically becoming Barry. I feel like Damien Dark was wasted in this season. So basically, Iris, she doesn't die. She just goes into, I believe it was the Destiny Stone or Time Destiny Stone. It was the stone. It was basically one of the stones that Damien gave to Joe in the first half of the season, when they had part A of the season. Somehow, and I don't know how Iris has all these powers because, I mean, hell, Barry had to be zapped by lightning to get his speed with the right chemical combination. She just seems to have like metahuman abilities that we don't understand. It's called plot armor. And again, I like Iris, but they write her ridiculously. Like, it's just like she is supposed to be basically Lois Lane. That's basically what she's supposed to be. She is Barry's Lois. Hard ass reporter, Pulitzer Prize winner, always gets the job done. She has a little bit of that now, but like they keep making her more than what she is. Like she's holding on to like Speed Force in her, and she's able to reignite her connection flame to her husband. And I'm like, I'm married. I would love to be able to reignite a flame. I'd have to know how the hell to do that, and I have to know where the hell it is. So like, how is she able to save her own life all the damn time with no powers? I am so confused how and he's like, you know why you cheat death all the time? Because you're a survivor. And I'm like, oh Lord. I mean, it's a great Beyonce song, but I mean, come on. You cannot play off that all the time. There needs to be more. We need something scientific. We need something that shows more of her destiny than just, damn girl, you're just lucky. That's basically what you are. So I don't understand how Iris is able to do that. And again, I know that, you know, Barry's a paragon of love. I understand that him and Iris are soulmates at this point. I understand that their love is like that transcends time and space. But how does she know how to use this? Because she is whole ass human. Like, I am confused. Somebody explain this to me. I am so confused. So yeah, that's my question mark there. Her reigniting her connection to Barry. I don't understand. And if this connection was so strong, why didn't we see it with Savitar and all the other things that she's been in peril since season 1? Why? When she was kidnapped by the bully and literally the first few episodes of the whole series in season 1, why didn't their connection, you know, show a pinpoint to Barry where Iris was? Why couldn't he find her in the Mirrorverse? I don't understand, but that is just me. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't understand it. Caitlin. So I kind of feel like if Caitlin really needed to have closure and have a content, happy life, instead of trying to date this scientist she was, you know, dating and having all these talks with, you know, Frost about relationships and being scared to jump in and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, of course, everything that happened with Ronnie and everything that happened, you know, like all of these things that happened. She probably should have done what Cisco did. Because when Cisco got in a relationship, he was like, you know what? I probably should leave Team Flash. Because when you're with Team Flash, people you love die. Like they just go away. Even though I'm a regular character, people around me do not have main character insurance. So therefore, I should get the hell out of Dodge. So that's what Cisco did. Caitlin doesn't do that. So Caitlin literally, she loses everything. But then she gets upset about it. And I'm like, but you should leave Team Flash. I mean, I'm just saying, at this point, it's the same pattern over and over again. You're going to love something and it's going to die because you're on Team Flash. That's literally what's happening. And I'm going to be real. I'm going to be completely transparent. I would have rather Caitlin died than Frost. Frost was enjoyable. Caitlin is boring as shit to me. I'm sorry. She's always bored the hell out of me. And like this season, it's just like, you know, you did all this stuff with, you know, Ronnie because you believed that Ronnie was coming back and, you know, he needed your help and he's in pain and blah, blah, blah. And it just turned out to be Deathstorm, you know, Storm. And like, you basically put everybody's lives in danger. And then Killer Frost gets killed protecting you and you're still doing it. Like, it's like you don't learn. And so I'm like, I'm just really tired. If they're going to keep Caitlin around, they need to do something better with her. Stop making her the stupid smart girl because it just doesn't work for me. And it really puts me off watching this show. And I did the disclaimer this because I'm always getting comments like this. Guys, this is not a West Allen versus Snowberry thing with me. I don't give 5 Fs about that little struggle, about the ship war. I don't care. I really don't. It is literally my personal opinion. I feel like they're not doing anything worthwhile with Caitlin other than making her look like an idiot. So they should have kept Frost, because Frost is the one that had all the character development, who made the strides, who evolved, and then they killed her. And then Caitlin is the one that never evolved. It's like she doesn't learn lessons, and it's irritating. And so I have a lot of problems with that. Allegra, on the other hand, this season did kind of power up. I mean, she went from being insecure about, basically being the second in command at the Citizen and having people not respect her, to actually finding her voice, learning how to use her powers better, speaking up for herself, pretty much distancing herself from where she started as a criminal to where she is now. She's become a very badass character all on her own. And I mean, I'm going to be really happy to see if they really start incorporating, her suit next, season, and just give her more of a storyline. But what bothers me is this whole will they, won't they between her and Chester. I don't care. I don't care. Her and Chuck, do it or don't do it. I don't care. It is the most drawn out, like seriously, drawn out relationship I've ever seen in the Arrowverse. I don't care anymore. I just don't care. I mean, damn, if you were watching Batwoman, I mean, Ryan and freaking Sophie got it on faster, and they've known each other for less time, technically as friends. But like, I don't understand why we are being subjected to this. It is very irritating for me. So I kind of feel like either piss or get off the pot. That's how I feel about that. So the whole Chester Allegra thing really needs to be straightened up, because I'm tired of looking at it. Just do it, or do it with somebody else. It has nothing to do with the storyline. It has nothing to do with the plot. It is just so CW can have more drama, and it's just irritating. Just do it. Nobody takes this long. They just don't. Cecile had a power up that was pretty cool. She was able to basically take other psychics' powers. Now, we understood that this was to help the positive forces. We get it. We understand that she had to sacrifice by giving her powers up to be able to basically give Barry the boost that he needed, because the negative forces were basically subduing the positive forces, and it was just all a mess. And at the end of the day, though, my girl actually got a new power, and I am just even more confused. So, like, she can conjure things now? She was thinking about wanting coffee or something, and a coffee cup appeared in her hand. What is that? I mean, she literally started off as an empath. So what kind of powers, what kind of metahuman abilities does Cecile actually have? I'm very confused, because I don't see how in the psychic realm of powers, conjuring things are even on that list. That seems like some next level stuff. But to be fair, in the comics, especially when we look at like, Omega level mutants, or we look at, OP characters in comics, they do seem to have powers that really are contradictory to each other sometimes, or are just all around making them OP, where you're thinking, well, damn, what's the point in fighting them? Because there's, you're not going to win. So they could be doing something like that. They could be making Cecile literally the next Scarlet Witch. Who knows? But I'm just really curious to see what that actually means. Like, what does this mean? What is Cecile? Because technically, at the rate she's going to be like one of the most OP people on the show. And then we won't even need the Flash. It'll just be Cecile. I wish that she actually spent more time, though, trying to figure out where her older daughter is, because we keep hearing about Jenna. Sometimes they talk about Jenna, baby Jenna, but it's like her older daughter, who was in college, is just gone, dropped off the face of the effing earth. Like, she's just never mentioned. She doesn't come home for holidays. She didn't come to Barry and Iris's renewal ceremony. She didn't come. She never shows up. So did they like get rid of her after Crisis? The daughter just doesn't exist anymore, because they never talk about this girl. It's like Cecile has only ever had Jenna. And I really wish they would address that, because it is the Judy factor from Family Matters, her going up the stairs and never coming back. This girl went to school. She came back once or twice during with Salvatore to talk about going to see Hamilton, and then that girl never came back. So she's either watching Hamilton like forever, or she doesn't exist anymore. So I'm really curious on where the hell their daughter is, or her daughter is, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. That's just me. I love seeing Rick Cosnet come back as Eddie Thawne, even though if it was in a creepy way, basically there to mess with Iris. But I don't know. Every time I see him, I honestly think that if we didn't have Grant, he would have been the comic book version ideal for the Flash. If you really look at him and Daniel Panabaker, they really do look like how, Barry and Iris would look in the comics. It's really weird to cast people that look like that and then not have them in those roles. So it's just, but it's the Arrowverse, so I expect this. Not to say I don't appreciate the fact that they have Iris and that they made her black. That is not what I'm saying. No, I claim my blackness, guys. Don't put that on me. I'm just saying that it's very interesting that they do that they literally will find somebody who ideally looks like the comic book character, and then they cast them as a different role. And it's like, all right, I'll take it. But yeah, I like seeing Rick Cosnet. I thought that would be really cool. To just keep him around a little bit longer, just not have him, because that was such a creepy role. It basically just taunting, Iris, saying, I died, I love you. It was very, very creepy. But we got him back, so that's a thing. And then having Robbie Amell come back as Deathstorm was cool too. Which, even if it was, honestly, Ronnie seems he was just like the character that I kind of felt tormented Caitlin the most throughout this entire series. It was always Ronnie. It was always something about him, her going, the extra mile to try and save him over and over again because she doesn't learn. So it's a thing. Honestly, I don't even know if we're going to see Ronnie, the actual Ronnie, if he really is dead, if he's really coming. I don't know. But again, missed opportunity for Blackest Night. I think that's probably my overall takeaway of this season, is that we could have had a segue into Blackest Night through Diggle. And because Eric wasn't sure they were going to get a season 9, and he was like, oh, what if I end this? Or what if we don't get a season 9? Well, we don't have a way of ending this Diggle story, which, by the way, did not originate. Like, the whole journey to basically whether or not he was going to accept the ring didn't originate on the Flash. It originated on Arrow. So, I mean, he went through all of these freaking CW shows, these Arrowverse shows, just to basically be killed. The whole concept be shit on the Flash. And I'm like, I don't know. I think somebody should take Eric aside and just be like, look, I understand you were trying to make a horror film this entire season, and parts of it were really good. I'm not going to lie. There are parts that I was engaged in. But I mean, for the most part, some of the decisions you made were just effing stupid. Killing off Frost, dumb as hell. Just dumb. Just absolutely dumb. The whole thing with Diggle, absolutely stupid. Having Barry meditate in the final battle between him and Reverse Flash, pretty stupid. I mean, I know where you were going this symbolically, but you could have found a better way of doing that. So yeah, overall, I was kind of lukewarm, I guess, in terms of season 8. I know that Joe's actor, Jesse Martin, is not going to be a full-time regular next season, which kind of sucks. But to be fair, he really wasn't in a lot this season either. It's almost like, I know he has another show that he's leading in, but it's almost like they forgot, or they just don't have enough for Joe to do anymore. Now that he's no longer police captain, he's no longer with the force, he's the stay-at-home dad that just gets on Barry when he's being stupid. And like, hell, Cecile's the one going out, all dressed up and trying to take people on, as a vigilante. So I don't know, guys. It's like I said, this entire season was kind of lackluster. It was not bad, but it wasn't good either. I'm kind of like in the middle. But we'll see what happens in season 9. Hopefully, maybe they will resolve a lot more than they did in season 8, which was not really a lot. But that's just that. And I know I probably forgot something, and I'll probably have to go back and look at it again. More than likely I did. But again, it's been a minute. It has been a minute. And the whole thing with Diggle, I think, kind of just left the whole season giving me a sour taste in my mouth, because I was like, really? I'm done with this shit. Let's move on to Superman and Lois, though. We can always come back. And if there's something you want to talk about with the Flash, put it in the comments. I'll be happy to address it, and we can just chat about it there. We do have a lot to talk about, and we are 24 minutes in. So Superman and Lois. I love season 2, but I'm going to point out some hypocrisies, guys, because I have to. So now, we have the whole thing going on with Parasite, Allie, Allison, whatever you want to say. I just want to say this. Everyone thinks that the superpower villains are the main villains in Superman and Lois. I'm going to tell you who the main villains are. the people in their damn town, especially Lana and her family. They do the most damage of anybody in this damn series. So hear me out. Let me just say this, okay? And I said this in an earlier review when I was reviewing season 2. Lana, the moment she found out that Clark was Superman, was in her feelings. This translates to other females, you understand what I'm saying, as being thirsty. And she never got to drink. And another woman is drinking for what she feels she should have drunk from. Therefore, she had became a straight up bitch for the rest of this damn season. That is what happened with Lana Lang in Superman and Lois. And on top of that, her daughter did the same thing to Jordan because, runs in the damn family. Now, I'm not going to give her, crap about the fact that Kyle cheated on her. But honestly, guys, Kyle had to have something to do in the show because he doesn't do anything else. He's a firefighter who F's up by sleeping with another woman and then bitches about stuff, about what the town doesn't have, what he doesn't have, blah, blah, blah. There's literally Kyle's role in this show. I don't know why. That and all of them most of the time ignoring their younger daughter, who I think actually is psychotic. But that's a whole other... We'll come back to that. But yeah, so Lana, the rest of this season, yes, she got elected as mayor. I was happy about that. I mean, honestly, because the guy that was mayor was a piece of donkey crap. But since she became mayor, all she is doing is whining about not being, them not being transparent. We were supposed to be friends and, how could you not tell me and blah, blah, blah. And then on the flip side, well, now that I know, now I have to keep it from my family and I don't want to have to lie to them every day, but now you have me in this position. I'm like, well, bitch, which one do you want? I don't understand you. I mean, honestly, real talk, guys, if I was married to a superhero and he was still friends with his ex-girlfriend and me and her, for some reason, we were friends. And then she got in her feelings because I didn't tell her that my husband was a superhero and you used to date this person. You're going to come up to me and say, you're not my friend and blah, blah, blah. I can't trust you. I'm like, woman, please. It's not your business. I'm like, not your business. I don't go into your house and ask you who your husband was effing in that damn bar. Why do I got to be completely transparent with my damn marriage and my life to you? I do not understand why they wrote this character this way, because I actually like Lana in the beginning, especially season 1. And they took the Lana from season 1 and they made her into this petty ass bitch. And I don't know why. It's just really sad. I'm used to her daughter being this way. Sarah is flaky as hell, but I did not understand why they did that to Lana. That was not the response I thought was going to happen. I thought she would probably be hurt because she felt like he didn't trust her enough as a friend to say something, but she was coming off like the jilted, wife again. Like Kyle cheated on her and Clark cheated on her. So that whole situation is stupid. So I had to call that out. The Langs, whatever you want to call them, I forgot their damn last name. Obviously not important. Stupid. And then Sarah talking about Jordan wasn't around and blah, blah, blah. And he's keeping secrets, even though you haul ass cheated by kissing another girl and then wanted him to hang out with her because, that's bright. The moment that she found out that Jordan had powers, all of a sudden, he's fine. Everything's right. Oh my God, I'm so sorry that I was being a dumbass. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're thirsty. I'm like, you got the thirst gene for the Kryptonians. That's what that is. That is what that is about. And that is so sad. That whole situation is sad. So yeah, the whole Sarah and Jordan thing is just extremely stupid. Honestly, I would rather Jordan be with Nat. And I know that's kind of weird because right now they consider her to be their sister. So the twins and her, they basically feel like siblings, which I get in a way, considering they technically have the same mom, even if they're from different Earths. The whole thing with Jordan and Sarah is just dumb. I'm sorry. And I'm curious to see how this plays out in season 3, now that she knows the family secret, because they don't seem bright enough to keep secrets. So that's a whole other thing. And speaking of secrets, Chrissy was showing her butt this season to Lois, I don't trust you and blah, 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 like all of this crap. And I don't know why Lois did this. I know why she said she did it. She didn't want to be partners with somebody and have to continuously lie to them. Like she was when Clark was off on Bizarro World for that month. She told Chrissy that he was off. Oh, she was telling people that he was off trying to get a story for them. And of course, Chrissy, being her partner, was like, "No, he isn't. He's not getting a story for us." And she's like, "Oh, it's an audition for him to be a reporter for you." And then Chrissy, and I'm just going to put this out there, Chrissy was literally acting like Clark can't write and wasn't a good fit for their magazine, even though technically, if you go by the comic standard, he also has won a Pulitzer, and he actually is a damn good reporter. So I don't know what that was about, but like at the end of all of this, they told Chrissy that he was Superman. And the problem that I have with this is that Chrissy's always like, you can't keep a secret like this, or you can't keep secrets like this. We can't keep secrets. We're the press. We have to be honest, blah, blah, blah. So what's she going to do now? Like, what's her stance now? You've been bitching at Lois all this time for not being transparent with you. And now you know the big secret. What are you going to do with it? So I'm really curious to see what happens in season 3, because if Chrissy does not give them problems about wanting to reveal his identity, I call BS on her entire character. All of her writing makes no sense to me. So I'm just putting it out there because she was fangirling in the season finale, but that does not mean anything in terms of what's happening in Superman and Lois in season 3. She still can turn around and be like, I feel like the public needs to, has the right to know that Superman is Clark Kent. And I'm hoping they go down this road. I really do. Because if they do not, and she just eagerly lies about it now, and if there's there's actually no backlash for having to lie and cover up the fact that he's Superman anymore, and she can't write certain stories because it would expose who Clark is. If none of that occurs in season 3, I call complete BS on Chrissy as an entire character, and I will not accept that character anymore. Just putting it out there because that is what it is. Allie as a whole this season was annoying as hell. Her Bizarro counterpart was, a Bizarro World counterpart was annoying. Her, I guess we're calling it Prime Earth Allie, was annoying. So like all of that was annoying. Lucy was very annoying this entire series. She got forgiven because she is Lois Lane's sister. That's literally it. If it had been anybody else, she probably would have been in jail for like all of the shit she did. Like, even to her father. I mean, what she did actually should have put her in prison for life for treason. But she's Lucy Lane. So I'm just not even going to bother talking about Lucy. There's no point. At the end of the day, she gets to go right off into the sunset with her dad and figure out her life and be Aunt Lucy, and everything's forgiven because, whatever. Let's talk about Jonathan, though. I still feel so sorry for Jonathan. And what got me so excited about this season was we are finally starting to see, and we've been seeing this, pretty much we saw it in season 1, but they're really playing off of it now, that he is very jealous that he did not get Kryptonian powers. And that his dad chooses to spend more time with Jordan, taking Jordan to the forest, the Fortress of Solitude, training him, being buddy, listening to Jordan and not to Jonathan. We're starting to see how it's actually affecting his relationship with his dad. I mean, and you hear it like when they were all in the barn and they were like, fixing stuff, and then Jordan went off, and then, of course, Clark went to go find Jordan, and they started flying around. And he came back and told, Jonathan was like, where were you? I was in here basically working. And they're like, oh, Dad was teaching me how to fly and blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, great. Oh, you saw the underlining. Well, F you, Dad, and F you too. No, I'll just be the non-powered twin that nobody gives a shit about and just go in the house. And that is how he's feeling. And I thought that, because you remember in season 1 when he realized he didn't have powers, and he was talking to Lois, and Lois was like, it's hard being the non-powered ones in the family. I thought she would be there more for him, but Lois doesn't need powers. Lois has the power of her mouth. When she starts bitching, I don't care what powers people have, they just shut up in this series. So it's just like, she doesn't need abilities. So Jonathan doesn't even have that. Jonathan is just literally the kind of pretty much the black sheep of the family. He is the one that people don't really think about, which is pretty effing sad. Which is why when his dad was yelling and getting on him and stuff and saying, you're a big disappointment, and, and you lied and blah, 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 it did not shock me when Jonathan's like, you've been lying to me for 14 years. Him talking back to Clark, and then seeing how Jonathan and Clark were on the Bizarro World. That is, I mean, honestly, I know it's supposed to be an opposite world because that's what Bizarro's world is. But I mean, if you really think about it, it's very close to what's actually happening with Clark and Jonathan, and I don't think Clark realizes that. I think he kind of has a hint, but I kind of feel like if he keeps singling out and ostracizing one of his twins and basically choosing a favorite with the other one because he's more like him, he's going to lose Jonathan altogether. And the fact that he went to X to even get powers should tell him right there that he has issues. So yeah, that whole thing for me, the whole Jonathan storyline with the Bizarro Jonathan wanting to merge with the Earth, Prime Earth Jonathan, and coming over, kidnapping Lana, doing all this stuff. All that stuff actually is not showing you somebody that Jonathan, the opposite of who Jonathan is. It's actually showing who Jonathan could be if Clark doesn't stop. The only difference is he won't have any powers. I mean, honestly, it's like he's creating his own Lex Luthor. If Jonathan were to get powers later on, he would have been the one that's Brightburn. And it was so weird because in season 1, I always thought Jordan had the potential to be Brightburn. But Jordan has been getting really good with his powers. We've seen him fight. We've seen him, like even in the season finale when him and Nat teamed up, and they were fighting, like the whole thing for me just like showed me that Jordan's really coming into himself, and he was brokenhearted over Sarah, and he was still making logical choices. Jonathan's the one that's actually the one people should watch. I kind of feel like he's the loose cannon in a way. His morals are kind of going out the window a little bit because he's angry that he doesn't have powers, and he's jealous. And I get it. And he probably wouldn't be that way if, like Nat doesn't have powers, but she's brilliant and she's able to build her own. She built her own suit, even though her dad didn't want to, John Henry didn't want her to do it. She was on some level, she's smarter than him. Jonathan doesn't have an opportunity to do anything but just sit in the house. And it's just, that's it. That's literally Jonathan's role. And I'm very curious to see what happens with Jonathan in season 3. I'm also curious why they never took, or at least why Clark never took Jonathan to the fortress to have him scanned to see if he just had latent powers. Like maybe they're there and they haven't woken up yet. Maybe something has to trigger it. I'm very curious why that never occurred. Why did he never take him to Jor-El when he was scanning, Jordan to see his potential? He never took the other twin to say, hey, why doesn't he have powers? They're twins. So that's very interesting. I'm curious. I have lots of question marks for the whole. Honestly, as parents, I question lots. All the parents in Lois, are Superman and Lois, they need training. So just put it out there. They need training. And once again, they are another group of people that need guidance counselors. That's a thing. Anderson, who started off not liking Superman, well, actually, no, being a fanboy, then not liking and trusting Superman, and then basically sacrificing himself. That was a good way of doing that. That was a good, kind of redemption arc. His redemption arc was very quick. It was almost like, oh shit, I was wrong. Like, let me sacrifice myself. So that whole thing there, they didn't draw it out, and I wish a lot of series did that. I like that they did this whole redemption thing for Anderson. So we forgive Anderson. Anderson's gone, so there's really not a lot to forgive, but it is what it is. I love how at the end of the day, when Superman had no powers, he decided to have his brother Telro throw him into the effing sun to charge him faster. Now, I don't know about you, when you charge your phone, like, doesn't matter if you throw it in electricity, it's not going to make it faster. But in this rate, it played off, I guess, because, it paid off for him. He got his powers. He was actually more, kind of buffed up than before, and he basically kicked Allie's ass. So that's fine. That's all we needed him to do. We needed him to do that. I will say when things were blinking out of Prime Earth and showing up and, our people and blinking off to Bizarro World, and items were doing that, it was interesting that Kyle and Lois were the two that were blinked together, which is really funny. I just think Allie took a long time to merge these damn worlds. It was taking a lot. Now, to play devil's advocate, I know it takes a lot of energy, but it was taking a long time to do this. And I love how when people were like, what are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And Lana's like, just go home and be with your families. And I'm like, I mean, they can do that, but that doesn't mean their families are going to be with them. They can't be blinking out every 5 minutes. That whole situation was so stupid and was so messed up. And then on top of that, we have Lana who won this election. You're thinking, yay, the people are behind her because they know that asshole mayor was just an asshole. And then he goes in there, starts talking to crap. What are you doing? You're not even running this place right. You're not being transparent, blah, blah, blah. You're just lying. lying, making stuff up. And then so she's trying to tell them about, what's going on with Allie. And then Superman has to make an appearance for people to believe her. Like, really? Then why the hell isn't Superman the mayor of Smallville? So that was stupid. That was very stupid to me. Just had to throw it out there. It was done. But Talro deciding to go to Bizarro World to become the new Superman, that tracks. And he's still looking for his wife, which is Lana, or was Lana. But I guess it kind of makes sense because if he comes back to Prime Earth, he's going back to jail. So, or not really jail, I guess, Red Kryptonite land. Because he literally, like, he left. I do believe that he did have what he said about loving or wanting to be part of Clark's family and wanting to have a family. I do believe he really believes that. I don't think he was making any of that up. He did help a lot. The scene where Jordan saves him and he ends up buying them like both trucks that are completely decked out trucks. I mean, expensive freaking trucks, as presents, right before he flew off to Bizarro World, meaning you can't really take them back because you can't find them anymore. I do think all that he was showing them that, they're his family, but he also values his freedom. And plus, it makes sense that they already have a Superman on Prime Earth, so they need to have somebody that they can revere and can be their Lord and Savior. The way he's going to see it as Talro, as the savior of the world. He goes to their Earth to be the new Superman. Now that Allie's gone, and basically all the Kryptonians are pretty much gone, and technically Bizarro Superman is dead. So I mean, he's going to be the new Superman over there. And I wonder if we're going to see cameos. I mean, more than likely we are. But I'm just really curious to see how that plays out. And, I kind of like that decision. I think that is a very good decision for him because it takes him out of the game, but not permanently. And who knows what that'll lead to later on. So I'm completely okay with that. Let's see. The finale. So we got to see a lot going on with Steel and Baby Steel. I love calling her Baby Steel. How they were willing to sacrifice themselves to blow Allie up by they went through the portal. They were going to blow themselves up because they only had enough to maybe do one attack, and they didn't have enough to go back to, through the portal to go back to their Earth. So they basically, John Henry and Nat were going to die together. And I respect the hell out of that because Nat, even though she can be a little whiny because, they're teenagers, she really showed her strength in the finale of that season because she was willing to die so that their new home will not end up like the previous one where her, basically that Earth Superman killed her mother and basically annihilated mostly everybody on Earth. So I do like the fact that we got to see those moments. And again, the scene where they're all like basically back where I think Lana was like helping people get ready to, I guess, vanish. I mean, I really don't know what she thought she was doing, but when she had the town meeting and she was looking for Sarah, and of course, they were getting attacked, Super Lana, and then came to attack them. And I love how she just showed up. Nat just showed up in her suit and was just like, let me put it to you this way. Whenever I see Steel and his suit form around him, and whenever I see Nat come in and be badass, sometimes I wonder why we need the Kryptonians on this show. Because for me, those two could lead their own show, and it would be completely engaging. And her coming in there when Superman had no powers and Jordan was getting his ass handed to him, trying to protect them, and she just came in and was like, like threw the hammer over to Jordan for him to use as a freaking bat. That was badass. So I am really loving Nat. And I'm really loving John Henry. And I'm very glad that they have made it so we know for a fact that they are going to be in the next season because Diggle shows up. Let me get in my feelings, guys. Diggle shows up again after he gave up the damn ring. Now, to play devil's advocate, I don't know the timeline between what happened when he was with Thawne and what happened or what, when he was in Smallville. But he shows up and he talks about Bruno Mannheim and how Bruno Mannheim in the Arrowverse is the one that killed John Henry Irons of their Prime Earth. And so he wants John Henry to basically investigate Bruno. And that's going to be what he is next season. That's going to be his role. He's going to be trying to figure out what happened with, Mayhem. And, Mannheim is he's very well known, you know. So he's gonna be this whole thing could lead into like apocalypse and a bunch of other stuff. I'm excited for this if this plays out. I can't get excited because I know the Arrowverse is doing it, so like I feel like they will take all these awesome villains and all these awesome characters, and they either redeem them or put them through a like the redemption training program that we know they have, or they completely milk them down so that they aren't really a threat. I'm kind of, it's like Anti-Monitor all over again, basically, is what I'm saying. So if they do that, I don't know how I might definitely be in my feelings, because we have seen Inner Gang has been in this series. Having Mannheim in and Inner Gang together would be frippin' amazing. Having John Henry researching Inner Gang and Mannheim is cool. I just don't know how they're going to pull this off. Like, are they going to be able to do it where it gives the comic material justice? It doesn't have to be exactly like it, but at least brings it into a live action respectable version of what we know, in the comics. Or is it going to be something milked down like Anti-Monitor? Which honestly, Bebo was a bigger threat than Anti-Monitor in Crisis. So I don't know. I'm in my feelings, but no, it is what it is. But yeah, like I said, all in all, I did enjoy season 2. This is stuff that I mentioned are the things that I had problems with. Only because, and I get it, you're trying to create this entire universe. You're gonna fall somewhere, and unfortunately, the things that they fail at in Superman and Lois is trying to add too many soap opera, kind of elements into it, where it starts to become more like Jerry Springer than actual drama. So, that's the thing. Just the thing. All right, Stargirl season 3. So one of the things that stands out to me, number one, is that Seth Green is now the new voice of Thunderbolt. What the hell happened? I saw the trailer and then I saw the news excerpt. I think I saw it on Superhero Hype, and I'm like, what in the heck happened? Obviously I'm not opposed to it. Seth Green does really good work, I mean, if you love Robot Chicken, you know that. But I mean, I'm just saying that I wonder what happened. So I'm confused. I'm very confused. I know Jakeem is definitely coming back. I'm wondering what Mike's role is going to be, because we didn't see a lot. Like, obviously they can't show us everything that's going on for season 3 and like a 3-minute trailer. But I mean, we saw enough to know that right now in Stargirl's universe, the villains are living simultaneously and I guess serendipitously with the heroes. And Sylvester is back and he doesn't like it. I'm like, he is angry as hell. And it's unfortunately Pat's problem. So Pat is like in the middle. So I'm very curious to see how that is going to play out this season. Especially with Cindy, because Cindy seems like she's trying very, very hard to redeem herself. And Yolanda is one of the biggest ones. Is like, no, no, not today. So yeah, the redemption arcs of these villains are actually out of the norm for the Arrowverse, because usually a villain can get redeemed very easily on The Flash and all the other shows, just by being good for 24 hours. I mean, it's just like, I'm really, this whole journey with the villains living, side by side with the heroes is something I'm very looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to basically seeing what's going to go on with Jenny, if she's going to find Todd, because remember, Todd was looking for her, and they went to I think it was called the Helix Institute. Yeah. Helix Institute for rehabilitation or something like that, or youth, something like basically something on that level. And we see Mr. Bones is there, so I'm excited by that. I want to see Todd's shadow powers. I want to see Jenny and Todd being reunited. Maybe talk about their dad a little bit. So that whole storyline is cool. And like I said, one of the Easter eggs for me was seeing Dr. Love as a doctor's on the doctor's nameplate when we were at the Helix Institute, when Jenny was basically asking that creepy nurse, if she saw her brother. Because if you remember, Yolanda actually became Wildcat with actual abilities, like metahuman feline abilities, because Dr. Love was experimenting on women he was a gynecologist and a crazy ass scientist, and he was shooting women up that he was treating that were pregnant to see what kind of babies they produced with metahuman genes. So like, I don't know if they're going to play that out with Yolanda later, meaning why that's why she's prone to have rages, is that maybe she really is, you know, one of the victims of Dr. Love. Maybe her mother needed help getting pregnant and got on a fertility drug, and it turns out that Yolanda has more cat-like reflexes than can take on, you know, the wildcat suit. The reason she took to it so fast and had those abilities, you know, and has that aggression is because of that, you know, the serum. I think that'll be cool. I think that'll be a really cool way of doing that. Will they do that? Probably not. But I mean, it will be truer to the comic. So I would be okay with that. But I'm really curious if the reason we saw Dr. Love's nameplate, if that is something they're going to mention, if not this season, the next, if they get a season 4, I don't know. Just something I thought about. So, but yeah, overall though, I'm really looking forward to seeing Jenny and Todd. Really hoping that Jenny gets to use more of her lantern powers. I know they cost a lot of money, but guys, you brought Green Lantern in the fold. You did this. You made this choice. Find the money. That's how I look at that. There's also rumors that Todd is going to be LGBTQ plus, which is kind of what Alan Scott was. So, I mean, I guess it's just rolling down to I don't know. I'm cool with that. I'm queer, but it's interesting that that's something I saw in the description when they were describing his character for the season. So we'll see where that goes. I'm okay. I want them to bring in somebody like Lantern Kid. I would love to see Lantern Kid or Jacob Lance on in this show. Remember, because his mother is a villain. His mother was, what was her name? I know it was Marcy Cooper. I can't remember her. What was her name? Forgot her villain name. Marcy Cooper is her name, her alias, should I say? And then Tom James Rice is her father. So Obsidian. So I would love to see Lantern Kid, and I don't know why. I think it'd be cool to bring a lot of lanterns in. I just think it'd be very cool. And they could do that again. Because we're doing our own. The CW is doing its own version of Stars and Stripes, you know, and Sylvester hasn't really created his own team yet, which he might, because they're actually it's starting to seem like to me that maybe he has abilities. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if they're latent from, you know, the staff. I don't know what's happening there, but it does seem like something else is going on with him, which may make him another villain this season. I don't know, because right now, if you look at the trailer, he's going to start. Sylvester is going to be the mentor and trainer for Courtney, which we already knew that was going to be, because of course Starman, our former Starman, is going to train Stargirl. I mean, that's going to happen. But I guess my thing is, what else is happening? Because obviously he's upset about the villains living in the town. You know, all their friends, he said, were killed by these villains. Now you're living, you know, with them, blah, blah, blah. But what else is going to happen with that? Like, I'm just really, really curious. And how many other JSA members are alive? Like, are we going to see Jay Garrick this season? I mean, we know the ISA has members that are kind of probably floating around that aren't dead, besides the ones we know about. But like, who else is there? We know the Shade's definitely coming back. The Gambler's coming back this season. So honestly, this is going to be a very exciting season. There's a lot going on just from looking at the trailer. I'm wondering if Mike is the one that's going to be piloting Stripe, since he did in, you know, last season when him and Jakeem were trying to help out with Eclipso. Are we actually done with Eclipso? No more Eclipso? What's going to happen with that? I'm very curious. And then, like I said, Courtney's just kind of being like bubbly, like, okay, team, we're going to go. But so much has happened. Like, Rick went to jail. He broke his hourglass. I have no idea what's going to happen now. Like, obviously he's going to get powers back, but is he going to create his own? And is he going to have the time limit? Because remember, in the comics, he actually does make another version of it, and it starts draining his life force and killing him. And then Beth has to save him, because in the comics, Beth is a surgeon like her mom and a brilliant, you know, medical researcher. So I don't know if they're still going to do that, but that would be a really interesting twist. Also, we got to think about Cameron. You know, Cameron's entire family, they're basically all chirokinesis users or members, or they're all kinetic, basically. So the grandparents already revealed their powers. I'm more than likely they're training him. They probably let Cameron in on the big secret that, you know, Stargirl killed your daddy. You know, so I wonder what's going to happen with that. That's what I love about Stargirl is like they've made so many enemies they don't even realize they've made, and they've had so much. There's so many like after effects to all of the things that have happened where they think they're just fighting Eclipso, and there are like little fissures of villains and little things happening around them that are side effects that they're gonna have to deal with later. And it's very organic, and I like how they're doing it. I think out of all the shows, honestly, Stargirl is probably my favorite because of how they deal with that. Not saying it's perfect. I still don't like how Beth and Rick are treated on this show, but I feel like, especially by Courtney, but I feel like it's coming into its own, and I feel like the whole team is going to feel more like a team this season. That's just me speculating. Don't put that. I just feel that way. I feel like that is going to happen. And I'm completely cool. I do want to know though, is the staff, is Cosmo's going to have problems trying to figure out who willed it? Like now that Sylvester's back, I mean, that was the previous wielder of the staff. So, I mean, what's going to happen with that? I'm really curious on what's going to happen with that because honestly, either of them can do it. And I mean, right now, Sylvester has more experience. And with him getting more and more angry with what's happening with the villains living in the neighborhood, even next door to, to the Dugans, is that going to make him try and take the staff back and become the villain with it? I'm really curious. I'm really curious how this is going to play out because honestly, it can go either way. It's like he could be the mentor and just be angry and then have to have like a soul searching thing and then like, pretty much get over it. Or he could make a grab for the staff and want to kill the Crocs, basically. I mean, it could go either way. I don't know. It's very fascinating. And I don't know. I know it starts August 31st, but I am very curious to see all of the fallout that's going to be happening because there's going to be a lot of fallout, like a lot. And then of course, are we going to see the Shining Knight? Where is the Shining Knight? Are any of the 7 soldiers of victory? Where are they? I mean, are they still looking for stuff? What's happening? Because like Shining Knight went on a soul quest or whatever, but like, what's gonna happen? Are you coming back into the fold? Sylvester's back. I'm just curious. I want to know what is gonna happen with that. Because like honestly, that could be a thing that at the end of the day, like pretty much their backup or like their team or like, somebody that comes in to save them when they're getting their butts handed to them because right now they're so, I don't know, they're so kind of like overwhelmed with, or they will be with everything that's happening that a lot of stuff's going to be pretty much on the back burner. There's too many storylines, but it's not, I mean, I don't want you to feel like I believe there's just too many as in, Spider-Man 3, original Spider-Man 3 movie. No, I mean, it's like too many. There are too many people, too many villains, too many open-ended, storylines that we haven't really touched on and can come back to bite all of them in the ass. And, that's a thing. That is absolutely a thing. So, yeah, I am very excited for Stargirl season 3. And hopefully when all of you who know what's happening with me right now, I won't get into it right now. Hopefully things will calm down enough for me to be able to start doing a weekly Arrowverse for that show because I really do want to talk about it. I really do. And I just want to make sure I'm able to. So that is a thing. But either way, I'm definitely going to be tuning into it. So if I can't do it when it comes out like that night or that week, I definitely will be doing like an overview. So, but I will do my best. I'm going to try my best to do weeklies on that. So fingers crossed that August is a little bit easier than June and July have been. All right. So Naomi. Oh, Naomi. Naomi. So let me tell you what's wrong with Naomi. They were trying too hard to cater to teenager relationships and I guess a coming of age story that they didn't focus on the fact that this is a comic book character. That was the first problem that I had with Naomi. Do I think it deserved to be canceled? No. I think that a freshman year show should at least have a sophomore year because maybe it would have picked up and gotten better. But they spent it was a slow pace. I mean, it was slowly drawn out. It was one of those like series where you were just like, are they ever going to get to the effing plot of this show? But the problem that I'm having is that when they finally did, it was stupid. Like, it is nothing like Naomi in the comics. Zimbardo is her greatest arch nemesis, and they turned around and made him one of her biggest effing supporters, and that's not Naomi. No. And then they made her parents, who were her biggest support system in the comics, besides her best friend Annabelle, who is from the comics, they made them murderers and aliens. Well, technically the father was an alien, but not a bad alien. But like, I'm telling you, what they did, this was like, if I could describe Naomi, I would say Naomi is Bizarro Naomi. It is literally the alternate telling of the Naomi story. Slow. Every so often we got a little bit of information, got excited about some stuff, and then it was like, boom. Oh, your parents that raised you, they killed your real parents. Yeah, and they took you, and now they really love you though, and yeah. What? And then she goes to fight Bruno, and then like he's the one that reveals like a lot of this stuff to her, and then they actually leave it where she's just gonna go off to try and fight, and she's gonna recruit, and basically she's gonna recruit more heroes and blah blah blah. And to be fair, Naomi is OP as hell in the comics. Major DC characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, like major characters have all said she is OP as hell. So she had so much potential. If this had been an HBO Max show, it would have done amazing. The problem was not the cast. The problem was not the setting. The problem was the effing writing on this show. It was slow and it was stupid. I'm like, it just did not do anything. Like, I honestly, at this point, when I watched the series finale of Naomi, I was like, wow, there's really nothing for you to do. Honestly, there's nothing for you to root for. Her parents are trash. Her real parents are dead. Her allies hide things from her. She's kind of whiny and hides things from other people and gets mad when people hide things from her. I know all about the drama between all of them, though. You basically played around with the biphobia. You played around with a lot of concepts you probably should have left alone when you're dealing with young people. And your motto at the time was Dare to Defy, which I guess kind of would play more into what it's going to be now, since the new owners, I think it's Nexstar Media, pretty much doesn't seem to like LGBTQ plus or POCs. So, I mean, that's something that's a whole other conversation. But I just really feel like Naomi had such effing potential. And it was the writing that sucked. And I would love to put them on the same list as some of the other shows that are just being canceled, like Charmed, Tom Swift, and being just taken out just because there's queerness and POC-ness. But I can't, because I actually agree that this show was not good. So Naomi had a lot of problems. Like the whole thing with Akira and Zimbardo, we know what happened with them, but we never got a lot of like real situational information. Like we never got the exposition we needed with these two. Yes, we got a drawn out from Zimbardo perspective, flashback. We had Akira say a few things, but we didn't really get everything. So like everybody's storylines are just open-ended. Naomi's going through the port of the fight, never to return because the series is canceled. And like they wrote it like they thought they were going to get a season 2. And to be fair, I get it. They probably did. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, guys. I feel like Naomi had so much potential, and they just blew it. That's what they did. It's the same with Batwoman. Batwoman, creating the character Ryan Wilder was never the problem. It was never the problem. It's how they wrote her. The writing on that show was horrible. It was just horrible. And it's just something you can't unsee. Now, again, as somebody who wants people to have jobs and a livelihood, I never want a show to be canceled just because I don't like it, because I know people need to eat. So you got actors, crewmen, directors, producers, all out of job. So that's not anything and that's not something anybody wants, but I wanted somebody to just come in here and be like, you know what? All of this sucks. I'm gonna get an all new writer, just like they did with the last season of Charmed. How everybody loved this latest season. They should have done that with some of these shows too, because what they were getting was not good. And, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. Let me look at some of the comments, guys. Hi, Jermaine. I haven't seen any of the new episodes. I'm going to go. Thank you for leaving a comment, Jermaine. Hi, Jake. How are you? Blue Savior. What did you say? Arrowverse. Sorry, I got to make this bigger because I'm old and my eyes are being stupid. There we go. Arrowverse is a whole mess. DC is just so screwed. They just can't catch a break in movies. Some of their actors being publicly shunned by society. All of Arrowverse is canceled. Yeah, now to be fair, they should have listened to me with Ezra Miller when I said he has crazy eyes. They should have listened to me, and they should have not effing cast him as Barry Allen. They didn't listen to me, so therefore that was that. Now, I did see a picture of Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne with Aquaman in the new Aquaman 2 movie. I don't know if it was on Instagram. I don't know if it's 100%, if they've confirmed it, but he did say he wasn't going to play Batman anymore. He never said he wasn't going to play Bruce Wayne anymore. So we still may get him as Bruce Wayne in their version or their Earth. And it looks like Henry Cavill may be coming back as Spider-Man, Lord, as Superman. So I think having them back, having the Justice League back to kind of pick up and maybe fix what was broken might be better. But they definitely need a new Flash. They definitely need a new Flash. They also need to try and have Peacemaker come in on a trial basis to see if he could be a leaguer. That would be funny as hell. Because I will say, I can't say all of DC is trash because Shazam looks good. From what I can tell, Black Adam's going to be good. Of course, Aquaman 2, I think it's going to do really well. I really do. I honestly love Peacemaker. So all of it's not trash, but I do get what you're saying. A lot of it is not going well. And to be fair, Arrowverse probably is not going to be called Arrowverse. There have been rumors that it will be called Superverse because they interviewed one of the showrunners and they said that the Superman and Lois that we know, I guess, is not even on the same Earth as Supergirl and the Flash and all of them were, even though he was during Crisis. It seems like he's probably one of the characters that is no longer on the Earth with them. Meaning that he has no affiliation with Kara or any of them. That's what it sounds like they're saying, which is really interesting, which would explain why we never had Alex and Kara in Smallville. But my only problem with that is that you have effing Diggle. And Diggle is from the Arrowverse because this show Arrow is where he started, and that is what it was named. The whole universe started with Arrow. Well, technically it's Smallville, but you know what I mean. So I'm in my feelings. And I don't know. I don't know how the Superverse is going to work, but you know what? Whatever. It's just tiring. The Flash didn't need 9 seasons, to be honest. You're not wrong. Technically, it didn't need 4, but that's a whole other conversation. Honestly, CW needs to give up Warner Brothers rights so we can finally have good DC adaptations because DC is a literal joke right now and Marvel is making billions. Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to be honest with you because this is just me. I like to play devil's advocate. Marvel is making billions because they had a good marketing strategy of connecting the universes and they did it. But just because a universe has connectivity does not mean that it flows well. And what I mean by that is Kevin Feige is finding himself in that same damn position. Stuff that was established pre-Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Netflix Defender series are not translating well into this new universe. And bringing in Daredevil is great. Bringing in Kingpin from the Netflix, Defender series are fine. But again, you're recreating the wheel on some of these characters to the point where they don't make any sense. Like I'm probably a minority here, I did not enjoy Moon Knight. I feel like the stuff they did in Moon Knight was not productive for that universe. Content, basically whether you're trying to connect it to everything and have this whole, kind of flow of what the characters doing, everybody getting to Secret Invasion and Secret Wars and blah, blah, blah. If your end game is to get to Galactus, your people gonna die. Because none of these people are connected. Like the stuff's going on in the Hawkeye and all the stuff in Falcon and Winter Soldier, all of this stuff. Yes, they're in the same universe, but they're not talking to each other. They're not working together. They're doing shit. And again, Moon Knight is a joke to me. Don't get me started on that stuff. I enjoyed Miss Marvel, but I did not enjoy Moon Knight at all. And so I feel like they just got lucky. Look at the first Avengers movie. They had all of these heroes in one movie from their Marvel movies, but there were huge plot holes. Nobody explained how the hell Thor got there. He wasn't supposed to be able to get to Earth anymore. No one said how Loki survived. He was supposed to be dead. I mean, all of this shit that was happening in the Avengers, continuity-wise, made no sense. But because it was flashy, and we got all of our favorite, heroes in it, everyone's like, yep. And don't get me started with the whole time travel and Endgame. Don't get me started with that. Because that, to me, even right now, is a sore spot. So, like, Marvel is just lucky because they decided to combine their universe and have continuity with their characters. And DC was like, no, let's make this an independent film and this an independent. Let's just be completely discombobulated and make your fans insane. Because at the end of the day, DC has some very effing powerful characters with very effing powerful stories that have limitless potential. But when you got dumbasses behind the scene, it's just what it is. It's what it is. Let's see. WB probably didn't let them use Green Lantern. No, they didn't know. I kind of feel like they didn't know they were going to another season. I don't think they knew where they were going with Diggle to begin with. Because remember, Diggle was supposed to be in Metropolis. And at first, when Superman and Lois was announced, I was like, okay, we're going to see Diggle because they're in Metropolis. But then they were in Smallville, so we don't ever see Diggle. And now we see Diggle all the damn time. All the time. For a man who did not want to become Green Lantern because he didn't want to stay away from his family, he's never home. Oh, it gets on my damn nerves. But yeah, I don't think the WB had anything to do with that, honestly. CW reminds me of Disney Channel on their shows follow the same synopsis. True. And how Disney likes to cancel all their queer shows too, like Owl House. CW superhero team in a lab training area, Disney Channel, your average teenage girl with a twist. Yep. I mean, in a nutshell. Caitlin is a boring character. # truth. Hey, boo, hope you're feeling well. This phase of your life is a part of your evolution. Sending you healing energy of love and light. I appreciate that. You're awesome. I really do. Hi, Nicholas. How are you? I feel so bad for Jonathan. He's literally drowning in his life, and it's like nobody even notices. Jonathan's probably going to be a villain, at least for a while, and honestly, I don't blame him. I don't either. I mean, it was nice that Clark brought up this whole, we have a family fortress of solitude in the middle of the ocean. Like, that Jonathan and Lois will probably not be able to get to unless leaped over there with them. I don't know. I don't know if a boat would get there. It might, but I thought that was really interesting. It's like, okay, Jordan and Clark can fly there. Lois and Jonathan, it might take them 4 days by boat. Like, family fortress of solitude. Oh, Lord have mercy. Jonathan villain art. Anywhere I can hear that ants fix now. I mean, I'm telling you, he's gonna be Brightburn, and it's gonna be awesome. I mean, Harley Quinn. What do you mean? Yes, Harley Quinn. Thank you. That's exactly Harley Quinn. That's what I meant. Thank you. Yes, Marcy Cooper. I really think that would be very cool to have, Lantern Kid, just to have their whole family. I think it's an entirely interesting dynamic. It kind of reminds me of Sky High with what was his name? War and Peace. His father was a villain. His mother was his mother was a villain. His father was a superhero, or vice versa, or something like that. I think that whole concept is really cool. Do you think Superverse would be worse or better than Arrowverse? The problem is I'm not impressed by Gotham Knights. I'm not really feeling the trailer. Now, to be fair, I try to give things 3 episodes. Like, that is my thing. But it just seems so done, used, whatever. It's like I'm watching Legacy and like Riverdale with superheroes. And that's literally what it seems like. And I'm just not really thrilled. And if they're part of the Superverse, and probably not. Superman and Lois is still okay. I still love Stargirl. I don't know. That's a tricky question because nobody thought the Arrowverse was going to go to shit. So it is what it is. I mean, honestly, I should have been aware of that because after season 2 of Arrow, I was like, what is happening? So I should have known that the spinoffs were going to be kind of weird too. And then canceling Black Lightning and other shows did not really make it better. Not giving Painkiller a chance didn't make it better. So in answer to your question, do I have faith in Superverse? No. Do I want to have hope in Superverse? Yes. Because I actually don't want them to cancel any more shows and kill anybody else's livelihood. But to be honest with you guys, real talk, the moment they pop a queer character on this damn show or spotlight a POC to the point where they're getting more work, that show's canceled anyway. Because I'm telling you, this new group that owns the CW, that's not really the flavor that they like. So it probably won't matter anyway. But that's just me. I digress. With how messed up the DC universe is right now, I think it's best for the fanfic writers that are strong in angst, hurt, comfort, and mild fluff to step in because these writers ain't doing it. Hell, I've been a lot of my favorite shows I've been doing that with in fanfics. I'm actually more excited when I get chapters released in fanfiction than I do the actual shows, honestly. But it is what it is. I think fanfics get an unfair, freaking flame because a lot of people are like, this seems like a fanfic. I'm like, no, it really should seem like a fanfic. Sometimes they are written better, especially by people that are more passionate. It's sad when you have people that are actually more passionate about a subject or characters or a plot or a story than the actual creators. So, which, it is what it is. Burnout. I've read some amazing Boruto fics, and at this point, there's so much filler in Boruto, I don't even bother watching it half the damn time. So it is what it is. And fanfics save the world. That's what I think anyway. That's just my opinion. All right, guys. We are over an hour and 16 minutes strong. This is the first stream I have back. I'm very proud of myself because I am very tired. And this coming up week, you guys want to know what's happening with me? I did post an update video yesterday, so it is there. Please, please, please check it out because then you'll know why I've been away and MIA. And when I'm able to tell you all of the story, again, I keep saying this, you guys are not going to believe it. You're going to think the Arrowverse wrote my damn life, honestly. But until that time, just like, I got some stuff going on. This Tuesday and Wednesday, I do have 2 court cases that I have to do. And no, I'm not going to jail, and it's got nothing to do with me and the law and breaking the law, just dealing with my dad's estate and the thing I talk about in the update video. So that stuff is happening on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I will definitely be MIA a little bit more this week. Tonight, I am doing a collaboration video with Joe's Geek Show, where it's going to be a video, not a stream. We're filming our reactions to some of the trailers that popped up from Marvel at Comic-Con. We're also going to do, I don't know if you guys have been checking out the Orville this season, the Orville New Legacy. Did I say New Legacy? I'm losing my mind. I am losing my mind. It will pop back into my head. Sleep deprivation, guys. But I actually did interview the entire cast for the new season of the Orville. And if you guys have Hulu, guys, I think if it's in the UK or outside, it's in Disney Plus. These are mini movies. Like seriously, where it used to have a runtime of like 60 minutes on Fox, they're over an hour, sometimes an hour 20, sometimes an hour 30. These are mini movies. The quality of the new season of, I think it's New Horizons. The season literally for me is better than Picard. It's better than, pretty much every Star Trek that's come out on CBS or Paramount Plus. It's kicking their ass for me right now. And that's saying a lot because, I'm a Trekkie. So I think the Orville, the writing and how they are handling this show is legitimately one of the best written sci-fis I have seen. It's better than Doctor Who and all of the other ones combined. So definitely watch it, but me and Joe should be talking about that too, because we're both we just watched the latest episode, and episode 9 was game changing for that show. So if you have been watching it, you'll understand. So look out for that video because I'll be posting that. I'm hoping to get both of these done and posted tomorrow. Because since Tuesday through Friday I will be MIA completely. So But we will talk about that. So again, love it. Seth MacFarlane created a universe that rivals Star Trek as far as I'm concerned, and I effing love it. They're doing amazingly well with that show. So that is what it is. But all right, guys, it is time for me to go. I have to make dinner for my family because it got to eat. But be on the lookout again for those videos. I'm also going to be talking about Ruby because I saw that they posted Ice Queendom episode 5 today. That show is a mind F. And I love it. I'm a Ruby fan. So I will be talking about that. And also, I do have videos that I owe you. I have not forgotten, and they are coming. I promise. I promise. I promise. I promise. Life has just been taking a dump. Actually, it's been rough for the past year and a half, but this last few months have been really bad. So, but we're going to get out of this. August should be a brighter time. Knock on wood. And that hopefully I'll be able to pick up content so I don't have to go almost an entire month like I did in July of hardly posting anything. So fingers crossed that will happen. But yeah, if I forgot to talk about something, guys, please put it in the comment section below. And if it is day for you, have a good day. If it is night for you, have a good night. And I will see you guys in our next video and stream. Bye, guys.